Hello ratbags, it's Jade. Welcome to an Ark Survival Evolved Genesis talk through today. We've seen the hype over the Genesis launching. We saw in terms of like the reveal of the countdown, the clues, the puzzles that we were helping solve together, and then of course the reveal that was spoiled a little bit by the Australian PlayStation Store releasing it a day beforehand, the storefront of the DLC Season Pass. We've digested the news that it's coming in two parts. Genesis is going to be one part coming this December, the second part next year, and it's not going to be necessarily a continuation of the story. It's more going to run in parallel. As said by Jesse during the live stream, it's going to be a simulation, so that means they could do all sorts of crazy stuff to it. This could be the biggest and most different Ark we've ever seen. That said, there are definitely some things I really want to make sure happen with this DLC. So today, I'm going to concentrate on that. I didn't get a chance to do this earlier because I was concentrating on the bugs and issues that most of you guys were having on Xbox and PS4, alongside all the problems with duping. But now that I've done all them videos, let's talk about what to get excited for and what we really want to see change and work really well for the next DLC. So don't forget to like if you find this useful video, and come join my Discord if you want to come play on one of our Werewolf servers. Plug. Right, number 5 is I want it to work, guys, and I guess there's almost two parts to this. The DLC last time, Extinction, was horrible. It was broken. It wasn't even just broken for Xbox and PlayStation. PC players were having their bases destroyed by the corruption growths. They literally were just logging on and their bases were gone. It wasn't ready. Fact. They didn't have enough time. They changed their team. Half the team were working on Atlas. It left the DLC for Extinction woefully not ready. It really creates a sour note in people's minds. Now, surprisingly, Extinction has actually been one of their most popular DLCs ever. I guess because once you start selling DLC every year and you don't have as many updates, it's always going to be really popular, especially for Ark when we've got 14 million players playing the game across all platforms. No doubt about it. There is a big portion of the game that's broken and buggy, but everyone just loves this game still. So what I really want them to do is make sure it's working. Please, please, please test this out. Don't worry too much about revealing too many things. Set up a beta. Give more access to console players to help you as well. Optimizations and problems that console players can also help PC as well. There is ways you can do it. PUBG do it. A whole bunch of other games have set up test live servers on Xbox. Let us help Wildcard, let us help you find the bugs and problems for the next DLC before it launches. No one wants a situation like with Extinction, where it launched, it was horrible for PC, and then even though the update came out or the DLC came out a couple of weeks for Xbox and PlayStation, it was still broke. So it didn't matter that you say you delay stuff on console because you want to test stuff out and make sure it's all working. It's a load of rubbish because it's always still broken console. So that's another part of it. Release it at the same time. Don't delay anything. Let us all get hyped up together. Let's all get excited together. Let players experience it for themselves instead of being bombarded by YouTube and Twitch streamers getting access and content with it early. Let all the player base play it together. Even if it's broken and buggy, it's always been broken and buggy, and I don't think that's going to change. So let us all help you test it and let us all play it together with a release date exactly the same time. Number 4. Gas bags, titans, you name it. Wildcard have done a really good job, I feel, in implementing lots of different types of creatures and lots of different ways to play the game and experience it with these creatures. I would like some more creatures though. The last few DLCs have actually dropped in terms of rideable creatures or creatures that you would generally use. Scorched Earth had a ton of them, then Aberration had some good more, but Extinction felt even less likely because of the titans added. Just didn't really feel like we got as many. I'd like to see at least 12 rideable creatures. So I want them to continue what they're doing with the creatures, but I want them to make sure we've got enough numbers this time and the creatures are definitely more usable. A lot of people just kind of sidesteps a lot of the creatures in Aberration because most of them were pets. I want a good mixture of creatures that are utility creatures, a good mixture of creatures that are just fun and have interesting abilities. We've already seen from the lava lizard that is going to be hugely OP just from the talk of it. It's a moving furnace. It literally can cook your meat, cook metal up. It's got an area of field attack that generates around it, and it also fires fireballs. I mean, that sounds like a massively OP creature to me. That could be the next Managamar on PvP, but it's also also really cool looking. I really love the idea of creatures, and since this is a simulation, we can really go out there with what these creatures can do. We're not held back just by dinosaurs. I love the idea that some of them might have an even bit more fantasy themed style to them. And that's clearly where we're at with the, I guess, the werewolf, the were-jerboa. It looks a little bit like a fat jerboa that's maybe gone a little bit too much on the pork pies. But that's what's going on. This guy is transforming into this werewolf. I want to see more of this. It'd be great if more creatures had abilities that transmorphed them into something else. We spoke about possibility of them gene splicing. That looks like it's probably not going to happen with this, but it would be nice if more of the creatures had special forms, or they could evolve into something. That'd be really cool. And lastly, with the creatures, please don't do what we did with Extinction and basically just have all corrupted creatures running around. It was good in terms of a mechanic making that no man's land, but it pretty much reduced Extinction to just not a great map. It was kind of all just higgled together. And that's on to number 3 of what I really want. I really want the biomes to be diverse. In the past, some of the maps have been a little bit one note. Scorched Earth does have some fantastic features, good ruins, but it all gets very much samey, and you end up kind of getting a little bit bored because you're just going over nothing but desert all the time. Obviously, it's part of that map, it's part of that difficulty, and making that setting very different from the island, I guess that was a big decision. But this was also very early on in ARK's life, and I feel like they probably just didn't have enough time, or didn't really think about the scope of the maps, that they could add maybe even more biomes, maybe more diversity to them. With Aberration, they were nearly there. They had much more diverse sort of foliage, and it was really alien looking. The caves were scary, you had all these new crystals. It was really good, pretty looking map. I didn't like the fact it was all underground though for me, but I do appreciate some of the biomes look fantastic, just really good, nice spaces. However, I still feel like there wasn't enough of them. You kind of had very samey big areas, and it wasn't maybe as diverse as it could be. But for sure, Aberration did get it right that you had to go to different biomes to really get different resources, and I love that aspect. It wasn't a cookie and cut paste job like Extinction ended up being. It was definitely a case of the biomes had a purpose, they had resources that you had to go and explore and travel, and that's what you want from a survival exploration game like ARK, a reason to go and visit all these other places. With Genesis being a simulation, we can really go out there. Why not have a simulation that's filled with really ancient castle style ruins? You've seen them all on the custom made maps like Ragnarok and the Center. The use of ruins is pretty big on custom modders maps, but Wildcard tend to be a little bit light with it. They don't tend to put it in as much. I love the ruins from Scorched Earth. I would love to see maybe a big huge city like that. That's one aspect I did like Extinction, was the core city. That was probably the only part of that map I enjoyed, I like the look of. So making sure we've got plenty of that sort of stuff to mix it up the landscape, add more detail and story and make it feel like there's a lot of lore and history there, even if it is a simulation. Or just go bonkers with it. Literally have 20 different mini biomes all next to each other. Maybe it's going to be on islands like Pixark, or one of the modded maps where you have to use a flyer to go over to some of these other islands. That could be a good idea to mix it up and really show how different the biomes locations are and why you're going to need to go there to get certain resources. From the trailer, we can clearly see there is the fire biome, there is the ice biome, and there is some distinct little shots from the countdown showing a toxic area. So I really hope that's expanded and we've got many more than just them 3. Number 2 is build pieces. We haven't had a unique build set since Scorched Earth when they launched it with the Adobe set. That was great, and I really wish they would add it more. We didn't get any particular build set with Aberration, nor did we get a proper build set with Extinction. They were just add-ons like tree platforms or cliff platforms. I want to see proper material. I don't know what that material could be. Maybe it's just reinforced wood, maybe it is a concrete subset, maybe it's a futuristic one that's not necessarily tech but a little bit more modern. Just give us something a little bit different. It's probably asking too much judging by some of the screenshots they've already released, but we would love a new build set. A lot of ARK players love building. The materials they have to work with are just a bit boring now. We just got used to it. And I say this from a non-PvP side of things. For PvE players, It's about having variety and mixing it up. So give us a proper build set. We want a complete brand new material, not just stone, not just wood, not just metal. Please give us something brand new, a brand new full set that we can make and embellish and make that the Genesis DLC is going to be our own. If it really is a simulation, go mad. Make a more medieval themed stone variant. Take some stuff from some of the mods that have been working in the past. Borrow some stuff from Primitive Plus and have more sort of mud huts and stuff like that. But that's what I really want to see. I want to see more variety in the build pieces, and I guess that extends to the items too. Give us lots and lots of new things to toy around with. We've seen in some of the previous games that ARK is kind of the template for, like PixARK. They've got automation. They've got loads of automation being added to the game. We've also seen in other games like Atlas, the building in terms of the building structures are really easy and quick to build with because they've used a different style method for it, incorporating a lot of the creator from Structures Plus, a lot of their work inside of Atlas. So make their building improved, give us more snap points, make it more interesting, and give us something nice and different to play with. Number one, they're pretty much already doing something to go along with it, and that's keeping PvE engaged. You'll notice I've not spoken a lot about PvP because I don't play it. I just don't. So there's no point in me rattling off that, yeah, PvP needs to be nerfed. And anyone commenting, oh my god, they need to do this, do that for everything else with PvP. Shut it. This is just about what I want from a DLC, not a time to just bitch and moan about every single item that's broke in ARK. We've been here all year. But I would like to see more added in terms of the missions. We know we're going to have pursuits or missions. This is something ARK Mobile has had for a long time, and we're going to finally get something like that in Genesis. We don't fully know how it's going to completely work. We know that HLNA, the robot, could possibly be giving us these missions. And they look like they're going to be simple quests. It might be something like collect 50 skin pieces or tame 20 creatures, very much based on something like achievements. If it's more than that, I will be super impressed, but even just having something basic like that I think go a long way, with the rewards possibly giving you either skin unlocks or items or just extra experience points, but make sure the rewards are fitting with what we're doing. You know, no one wants to go for a quest to defeat all 3 bosses on the map and all you get from it is some extra XP. You know, it has to be something really good, more skins, more stuff like that to make it more rewarding to do these missions. And I guess the next part or the next aspect to that for PvE is keep it engaging. You did try it with the orbital drops and you were nearly there. That added a new focus on gameplay for ARK, like horde style defending your point while you're trying to get precious resources. That was a good mechanic. It was a bit broken, it's a bit buggy still, but that is something I think you could embellish a little bit more, and we would love to see mini bosses pop up more. You've seen it in Valguero recently with the Broodmother just roaming around. That would be awesome if there were more creatures like that just running around. Not necessarily like the Titans in their Biomes and Extinction where you still had to summon them really. We want to see actual proper mini bosses just running around, and it could be a special prize. Give us more story content, give us more missions, give us stuff to look up, maybe breadcrumbs to follow. That sort of side of thing is missing a lot from ARK. It's all just about the taming and building. There's not much in terms of story or other content. So mechanics like more orbital drops or something along them lines like horde defense seems pretty easy to implement, and just give us extra bits like bosses and mini bosses running around the map, more alphas, more different types and varieties. That's what I want to see. Something that you can do, mixing it up even more rather than just gathering and building or taming. So there you go, job done. That is what I want from the next Genesis DLC. It's going to be interesting having it labelled part 1, part 2, the simulation aspect, where does it all finish off. I could talk more about Genesis, but I kind of feel like I've missed the window now. I will give you more details and information about what we find out in the next coming weeks, and I'm pretty sure we're going to start seeing them teases of the mysterious mysteries appearing with some of the creatures, and that's going to be fun. So to keep everything locked down for ARK news, but only when there's actual proper news, make sure you've got the bell notified from my channel. Make sure you're liking and come join my Discord if you want to play with other ratbags on my servers. Until next time, ratbags, I'll see you later.